Please be quiet. I need to think. You need to listen. Turn off the lights and try to be quiet. These thoughts have been swirling around in my mind for days. People say I'm paranoid. They say these thoughts are not healthy. They say I need to take medicine and make them go away. I don't believe them. Just because you're paranoid, it doesn't mean they're not after you.
Every time you exhale, a little bit of your soul escapes. Luckily, you almost always inhale it back before anyone else gets to it. Almost. Ever fogged up a mirror with your breath? Don't do that.
Little Emily vanished last year. Now they're pouring new sidewalks in my neighborhood, and I've found her name in the wet cement, written in remembrance. But it was written in reverse and from below. Hearing my grandfather call my name when I was alone in my apartment, and he'd been dead for 7 years. Mind you, he died in the United States, and I was in my apartment in North France. It still gives me the chills.
Did you ever see one of those videos where you're asked to look for or follow a specific thing throughout the whole video? Then at the end, they reveal that as you were watching, something large and intrusive moved around in plain sight, and you never noticed it. It's frightening how often that happens, like how I just moved from the doorway into your room as you read this.
Do you hear noises when things should be silent? If so, do you hear a high-pitched whine when there is nothing making the noise? When you are hearing that, do you feel like something is standing over you, observing? If you answered yes to any of these, you are experiencing what we're trying to keep secret. We'll be around tonight to take care of that. For those of you who answered no, well, you still answered the questions. Better to be safe than sorry. I see my mother in the window. She waves and beckons for me to go with her. I hear my mother talking in the hallway. She doesn't sound the same and she smells like rotting meat. I see my mother in the mirror. Her eyes are gone and her soul has left with them. My mother tells me to turn off the lights. She says if I turn off the lights, I can go with her. Then we can find more friends. I love my mother, and I want to make her happy. Lights out. Night, night.
You don't know it, but someone has been removed from your life. They haven't died. They haven't moved. They have simply ceased to be from present, future, and history. However, you still know they were there. You faintly recall broken memories of someone else there. Someone who should have been there, but you think you're crazy. You go to do something, but you can't remember what. It was them. They wanted to talk to you.
You know when you're falling asleep and you suddenly get the feeling that you've tripped? Your body lurches forward in an instant, ready to protect you instinctively from injury. You can almost see the ground rising to meet you. This occurs when the boundaries between you and the you in an alternate universe are weakest. This is the feeling that happens when another you dies. Last night, a friend rushed me out of the house to catch the opening act at a local bar's music night. After a few drinks, I realized my phone wasn't in my pocket. I checked the table we were sitting at, the bar, the bathrooms, and after no luck, I used my friend's phone to call mine. After 2 rings, someone answered, gave out a low raspy giggle and hung up. They didn't answer again. I eventually gave it up as a lost cause and headed home. I found my phone laying on my nightstand, right where I left it. You know how every year you blow out another candle on the birthday cake to symbolize another year passing? Let's think about what that really means for just a moment. Fire represents life, and each year you snuff out another candle just for tradition. Every year you grow a little bit older, and every year you blow out another candle in your life. All of those people you love who are dying before you. Well, let's just say life is like a candle in the wind. So next time you get a year older, close your eyes, make a wish, and snuff out the flame.
Every family in every town, in every country on every continent, has one. It's a cabinet. Not particularly odd, not out of place. The paint was peeling a bit on the corners, and the knob was a bit loose. The inside smelt like dust, and the paint wasn't the same as the kitchen walls. You hid in there once during a game of hide-and-seek. No one told you. It doesn't open back into your reality. Don't worry, you can't tell the difference. But everyone misses you.
You know how sometimes you hear a friend or a loved one call your name and you turn around, only to discover that nobody's there? The same thing can happen when you see someone on the street. They look like someone you know, but for some reason, you know it isn't them. They want you to think they are who you think they are. That's the only way they can get to you. You've heard the voices calling you. Pay attention to the voices of your loved ones and learn to recognize them. Remember the last time you spoke to your mom and she seemed a little strange? Well, there's a reason for that. They have to practice first. If you like what you heard, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you'd like to, you can follow me at Twitter. The handle is @FuzzyPantaloons, and I'll see you all next time.